Hi, I'm Mark and this is State of Independent. If you're new to my channel or you've not seen these videos before, this is where I review comic books, usually from independent companies that are around. I might review a comic from DC or Marvel if I feel that it's something people should be reading, but this set of videos is really to highlight comics that don't get as much time on websites and in advertising and that they should really do. And these are comics that I think possibly even people should be cancelling comics from DC and Marvel to pick up and read. Today I will be reviewing A Voice in the Dark by Larime Taylor, #1. Have you ever imagined killing someone? That person that cut you up whilst you were driving into work this morning? The person who jumped the queue whilst you were patiently waiting in line to pay for your dinner that night? Have you ever laid in bed in the dark, not being able to sleep, and having thoughts run over in your head over and over again, planning someone's demise, even if you know that there's no way you could actually act out on these ideas? Zoe is 18 years old, and when we first meet her in this comic, it's been 72 days since she killed her first person. Call it revenge, call it protection of her adopted sister Seven, call it what you want. She took somebody's life, and this is a bit problematic for her because all her life she's fantasized about killing people. She's not from a broken home. She hasn't got overbearing parents. She never tortured animals when she was younger. All the hallmarks of somebody who could easily become a serial killer. She's a normal kid, a normal 18-year-old girl. You know, good grades, honor student, top of the class all the time, very intelligent, but not somebody who you could easily, looking at her life and her upbringing, class as a serial killer. And because she killed this girl who outed her adopted sister, it's been harder for her to distinguish between reality and fantasy. We see this when she goes for an interview at her new college campus for a job at the radio station called KILL, Killer Campus Radio. She imagines strangling the person who is taking the interview when they, to her, laugh at her idea of doing a campus radio talk show where anybody can phone up and divulge their deepest, darkest problem or fantasy or worry about anything. She's hoping that this is a way to actually help her to get her, I don't want to say murderous intents, but her thoughts of killing under control. I mean, she, within 48 hours of meeting her dorm mates, she's imagined killing them in 12 different ways. She's even imagined, while she was in one of her lectures, she's imagined stabbing somebody in the forehead with a pen just because they annoyed her when they said something. So she's trying to get her imagination under control and trying to figure out a way to distinguish between reality and fantasy. As this is happening, there is a possible serial killer in the area that her campus is in who is killing young girls and taking Polaroid pictures of them, which the police are starting to investigate. Zoe's first radio show, she gets the usual phoning up, trolling people, and then literally her third caller on her show is somebody who says that they are seriously contemplating on taking their life, which I would imagine in the next issue would be quite a problem for her, due to the fact that her adopted sister Seven also tried to commit suicide when the girl that Zoe murdered outed her as homosexual, and her parents, Seven's own parents, disowned her because she was outed as being gay. Now this is written and drawn by Larime Taylor, and I've got to say it was absolutely compelling from page to page. It is a really thick book as well. It's $3.99, which you might think, oh, that's quite expensive, but there is a lot of pages in there, and there is a lot of stuff packed into the first issue. The artwork is simple but very effective. Doesn't take away from the actual story in the comic. In fact, if anything, it enhances the story more, because you're actually reading the story more than looking at the pictures, and you know, it draws you in. The comic actually makes you want to read and turn over the next page. To me, this is all the more amazing. This comic is all the more amazing when you find out that Larime Taylor has arthrogryposis. I knew I was going to say that wrong. Which is a congenital joints defect in two or more areas of the body, usually the hands and the feet. He does all his artwork by using his mouth. He draws everything with his mouth. It is just astounding. I've always admired people who, regardless of accidents that's happened to them or disabilities, that they've just turned around and said, I'm not going to let it stop me from doing what I want to do. If you like TV shows like Dexter or Hannibal, which is coming out again soon in this month in America, then you will enjoy this comic. You'll really enjoy this comic. If you like, if you're interested in things like serial killers or human psychology, you will enjoy this comic. If you just like to read comics that have a really interesting and compelling story to be told, and one that makes you want to turn every page and makes you want to pick up the next issue, this is the comic for you. It is just, I don't want to say spellbinding, because that makes it sound like it's a fantasy story, but I was enthralled by this. I literally couldn't put the book down until I finished reading it. Matt from Matt on Comics got this for me as a present, and I thank him greatly for doing it, because it is just a brilliant comic, and I'm looking forward to picking up issues 2 and 3 of this when I get a chance to do so. A Voice in the Dark is a very interesting comic to highlight the dark sides of the human psyche. Everybody has it. Everybody has the ability in them to take somebody else's life, regardless of whether you think you have or not. There are things in your life that will happen where you could quite easily, you know, somebody might try to harm your family or your friends, and you would want to harm that person back. This comic is looking into that part of the human psyche and saying, literally turning around to you and saying, are you capable of doing something like that? I'm not really somebody to give points out, but to give you an idea, if it was out of 5, I would give this a 4. Definitely a solid 4. And I would say that I hope that this comic goes on for a lot longer than I've heard. It's actually possibly going to be cancelled, which would be a terrible shame for this comic to be cancelled so soon of it coming out. If you get a chance to pick this up, I know the first issues now on eBay are going for quite silly money, but if you get the chance to pick this up in single issues, I definitely recommend it, because it's the single issues that tell comic companies that you want to read these comics, not the trades, not the graphic novels that they bring out. It's the single issues that tell the comic companies that you are interested in these comics. So there you go. Thank you for watching. That was my review of A Voice in the Dark by Larime Taylor. I hope that piques your interest and makes you want to at least look into it and see what you can find about yourself, maybe, by reading it. If you've got any comments on this video, comment section down below. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you didn't like the video, feel free to thumbs it down. But if you do thumbs it down, as I always say why you thumbs it down. Again, thank you for watching State of Independent, and I hope to see you again soon. Ta-ta for now.